So schools are adding pepper spraying drones to help combat active shooters. The plastic non-lethal that's what they claim. Aircraft can smash windows and ram attackers and will be ready at certain schools in Colorado, Florida, and Georgia. So here's the pepper spraying drones that they're trying to employ to help attack school shooters. Now, they claim these are non lethal, but then they also claim they can smash windows and ram attackers. The Washington Post did, oh my God, a story on this. And I wanted to talk about it because I think this technology is incredibly dangerous. It's not necessarily surveillance tech, but it's a good example of how this is deranged. Instead of banning guns, we are rolling out these incredibly dangerous drones that will zoom through halls, smash windows, and pepper spray active shooters if teachers report a threat. That's actually quite a low bar. The aircrafts are designed to distract their targets by flashing strobes, blaring sirens, spraying them with pepper gel, and ramming into them at 60 miles an hour. Okay, so that will kill a child. Once I got the drones on you, you just can't escape them, said Bill King, a retired Navy SEAL. Yeah, this is crazy. But I thought that Tyler Oakley, the YouTuber, actually made the most salient point. He tweeted, "This will be used against student protesters before it will be used to protect students from school shooters." And that is, of course, true. And yes, the drone is made by an Israeli company. Of course, Israel is always at the scene of the crime. First of all, imagine that what this was trained on, knowing that it's Israeli, knowing that these drones are Israeli. I'm sure this is this is why we all need to care about what's happening in Palestine and the genocide in Palestine, because the technology that is used to oppress people abroad in places like Palestine will inevitably come back. It's called the imperial boomerang, right? This is this idea that what we do to people abroad will eventually be done to us. The horrible technology that we're using to stalk down people using drones and assault them and blare through windows and harm people. This technology is currently being used to genocide innocent Palestinians. Now it's making our way into our school system. And I just think Tyler is totally correct, because we've seen the way that these schools have aggressively cracked down on anti-ICE protests, on pro-Palestine protesters, et cetera. I was at the UCLA encampment last year. Was that last year or the year before? Last year? Can't even remember. I think it was about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, when the UCLA encampment was attacked, and when pro-Israel trolls, you can only describe them as, were actually shooting fireworks at innocent students inside the encampment. You can easily imagine a situation where drones like this are deployed. If we give schools and campus resource officers, aka police officers that are in schools, which there are skyrocketing amounts of, access to technology like this, it will be used in bad ways. And I guarantee you it will not only be used against school shooters, because case in point, it says they can basically deploy these drones if a teacher reports a threat, which is just an incredibly low bar. So I just think it's so important to fight against this technology. If we normalize this, by the way, in schools, if this is the type of technology that we're allowing children to grow up with, allowing children to just see as normal, think about the surveillance and just horrible tech landscape that, if this is what they're marinating in when they're young, that they're going to be willing to accept when they're old. I think the government and these horrible companies, and by the way, this is all capitalism, right? The reason that we don't enact gun control, one of many reasons, is that it's incredibly profitable for Israeli drone companies and other companies who can sell this nonsense school technology, this sort of anti-shooter technology, safety technology. Another big plague is the AI surveillance detection systems, right? That claim that are doing facial recognition on children and claim to keep kids safe by surveilling them. And they claim we can tell when a student changes their gait, they're going to commit a shooting, right? And then we put that kid on a watch list, and now we have their biometric data that then can go to the police when they turn 18. It's all part of this horrible surveillance system. And it actually reminds me of this video that I saw from a mom talking about this other technology that they're deploying in schools and why parents should care. So let's watch it because it's related.
Be really careful signing your kids up for school this year. I was just signing my son up for school and I got a pop-up regarding an app that they are trying to utilize in school districts across the United States. The app is called Biometric Face Find. So what they are essentially asking is to take a mathematical calculation of your child's face and upload it to their database. This is why this is concerned. Explicitly states in their privacy policy that they are sharing this information with third parties, which it does not disclose. All know the controversy that was surrounding this company when all of those files were released. This app requires your permission. So if you have already opted in, I would highly suggest you call the school and tell them that it was a mistake and you want to opt out. As a reminder, biometrics are forever. It is a mathematical calculation of your face. That calculation remains the same forever. Additionally, by utilizing their services, it explicitly states in the privacy policy that they're also collecting all of this information. Have never had a problem uploading or organizing this information in the past. There is no reason that we need to give a business or company permission to collect our children's biometric data for their convenience. This timeline is so beyond infuriating to me. Not everything needs to be AI. Additionally, what these companies do when they collect your biometric data is they scan the internet. They are able to scan the internet for anything that matches that mathematical calculation of your face. Social media, blogs, posts, websites, anywhere on the internet, looking for that calculation of somebody's face. Ugh, I love you so much. Please stay safe. Drink your water. I'll talk to you later.
So I think all of this is incredibly dystopian. And I think just the way that, I have an episode coming out in a couple weeks about this with a friend of mine at the EFF, but schools are becoming testing grounds for a lot of this dangerous new technology. And I think it's so horrible. I've talked about the AI-powered cameras being put on school buses, but we are effectively normalizing mass surveillance to children, and that really affects what they view as normal, what they view acceptable when they grow up. And because children are an oppressed class, right, and most people in America don't view children as having any rights, they view them effectively as property, not human beings. They're totally fine with this level of authoritarian control and surveillance and censorship and dangerous kind of drones chasing them around, because we don't view children as children. We view them as property of their parents, not human beings. And so I think, like, if this is the world that we're allowing these tech companies to build inside of public school systems, imagine it's going to trickle up when these kids when this is totally normalized to a generation of children. They're also not going to have a problem with police drones flying around and, shooting you if you step out of line, right? Because they've grown up with it. It's been normalized. So I think this is so horrible, and we should be outraged about it, and we should make sure, if we're parents, to not allow this type of stuff in our children's schools. As somebody said, yeah, it's just a sandbox, basically. And they'll do all of this and not do gun control, right? And by the way, mind you, who's never saying a word about any of this? Jonathan Haidt, right? Who was in the Epstein files, let's not forget, who's also never said a word about the Epstein files. All of these people that make their entire brand, oh my God, protect the children, protect children's mental health is so bad. Yeah, why do you think children's mental health is so bad? They're growing up in a dystopian hellscape, okay? They're probably having to walk to school, right, where they're getting surveilled by an AI camera on their bus as they drive to school past a million data centers or whatever the fuck. And they get to school, there's a pepper spraying drone that can be deployed against them at any time, where all of their facial data is being harvested, where they can't even make a joke to a friend. I have a video coming out about this soon too. Like, you can't make a joke to your friend because, like, all these AI systems on school computers, you could potentially, one girl, a 13-year-old in, I think it was Tennessee or Alabama, was strip searched. And maybe I was covering this last week. I can't remember what I covered already and didn't. But, this girl in Alabama I think I covered it last week, was strip searched and jailed overnight because she made an inappropriate joke on a chat to a friend during, on her stupid school AIM thing. So it's just like, this is what we're doing to children. And then people are like, kids' mental health is so bad because they look at Instagram. Guys, they're DMing each other on Instagram and watching short form video on TikTok. That's why their mental health is bad. Not because they have a pepper spraying drone chasing them around the halls of their school. While, by the way, they're given like 15 hours of homework every night. It's a whole other issue. But like kids today, the amount of work that is being put on them. Also, these kids are being forced to participate in our economic system at younger and younger ages. We have children they're like, hey, you're 12. Do you have an AI startup yet? What are you doing to the young boys, especially? They're like conditioned to participate in this like entrepreneur hustle economy from the time that they are children. Oh yeah, I did talk about it last week. But I'm just saying, like, again, these people do not care about the mental health of children. These people do not care about protecting children. If we cared about protecting children, we would be enshrining their privacy rights. If we cared about them, we would be banning guns. We would be doing so many things for children, and we are not doing any of it. By the way, how much do you think this Israeli drone technology costs? Millions and millions and millions of dollars. This Washington Post article talks about the insane amount of money this is a multi-billion-dollar industry at this point, a multi-billion-dollar industry that is, aimed at school safety or whatever. And that's just counting sort of the technology that's aimed against gun control. So it's all for profit, and they don't care about children. And yeah, it's so funny because in a lot of these states that are passing keep kids off social media laws, they're also dismantling child labor rights, and they're trying to allow children to go work at the meat factories or whatever. So yeah, when people say think of the children, it's because they want to exploit them. They want to exploit them. And if you see people online talking about social media addiction slop and not talking about this and not talking about the surveillance hellscape that we are raising these children in, then you know that they are a grifter. They're grifting. It makes me so mad. So mad. Yeah, one day we can stop giving money to Israel. Please. Yes, as Portal Pacific said, they want to protect children so they can continue to use them as tools and weapons to strip away your rights. Kids are prisoners today, yeah. And yeah, this is an example also of the military-industrial complex, as another person in the chat said. It's all very infuriating. I know, I am shouting my office page. I know, sorry to be venting. I get like so worked up in this stupid co-working space. I feel like every Friday they're probably like, who is that crazy girl that's like shouting about surveillance every Friday? But whatever. Taylor Lorenz is wrong about social media addiction. Okay, well, we're not gonna promote slop videos of random people that have no expertise on the topic. We're not going to promote that. Okay. Can we ban this, please? Can we ban anybody that is posting links? No offense to you. I just don't want to promote, here's the thing. I am so willing to hear people out, but I have covered, this is what I want to tell you guys. I have covered this issue for over a decade. I am a tech reporter. I have been a technology reporter for almost 17 years. Okay. I've been reporting on technology. I have been covering technology. I have been reporting specifically on this effort to dismantle free speech online through the guise of social media addiction and all this stuff for over a decade. This is my entire job. This is my entire beat. I have talked to everyone. I had an entire coffee this morning with a major player in this space, basically. I deal with Ian, who is the leader of the Age Verification Providers Association. I know everyone in this space. I know pretty much all of the advocates in this space. I know people on all sides of the issue, and I have talked to pretty much every single leading scientist that actually studies social media's effect on children. So, with all due respect, this is my entire beat, and I am a reporter that is reported on this topic for the New York Times, the Atlantic, the Washington Post. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I know everything. There are things that I probably don't know on a lot of things. But on this topic, I do know my shit because it is my job to report on it. And because I feel very strongly about it as somebody that cares about free expression. So, when people make videos or content or somebody sent me a thing on Reddit and they were saying, oh, everybody's attacking you on Reddit. I don't have a Reddit. So, I don't know how to even sort of combat that. But when people say this stuff, they're ignorant. I don't know how to say it other than they're ignorant because they don't actually engage with these issues. And they're so kind of invested in this. So please don't come to me being like, did you see somebody post, some random person with no expertise, blah, 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 or some random lawyer, that's never covered this stuff before said this. No, if somebody legitimate has something to say to me, first of all, I'll probably hear directly from them. but like these are not serious people. So I'm not going to engage with people that are just random people on the internet. Just the way that like a climate reporter, do you know how many, my friend covers climate. One of my best friends is an investigative reporter covering climate, mostly for like LA Times, but also NPR and other places. She's a freelancer. You know, people come to her all day. Hey, actually, I found this random ass guy online that says that you're totally wrong. Okay. Well, she's an investigative reporter covering climate change and the oil and gas industry for the past 10 years, right? And covers it like it's just like there is some level of knowledge here, right? And I'm sorry, I've covered this for so long, and I don't have patience. Like maybe back in 2018, people did get me to like listen to some of these people more, but now I know that they're operating in bad faith, and so I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah, Legal Eagle, like I actually like his other videos on certain things, but on this issue, he's completely wrong, and it's really disappointing. And it's really disappointing to see him sort of grift.